Good afternoon, everyone, and welcome to the Google for Africa Education webinars. This is an exciting series brought to you by Google and some of its edu partners. The series of webinars is aimed at educating educators and teachers with experiences and best practices within the Google for Education tools from fellow teachers and partners. For this week, the webinar is facilitated by the same partners as the previous webinars that many of you have been watching. Cloud Edu from South Africa, MKB Consulting from Nigeria, and Power IT from Kenya. In this specific session, we're going to be focusing on supporting learners with special needs in G Suite for Education, and we're going to be looking at many different tools that can help all our learners learn better and improve their learning journeys. We'll leave some questions or some time for questions at the end of the webinar, and there'll be a link for you in the YouTube chat where you can add your questions, or you're also welcome to add them in the chat on YouTube itself. We have three presenters today. We have Dylan from Oak Hill School in Knysna, which I'll say a little bit more about in a moment. We have Andrew Otavia from Bloombreed High School in Port Harcourt in Nigeria. And then we also have Nicole Dos Santos from Penryn Preparatory in Mpumalanga in South Africa. So our presenters today, Dylan is going to be speaking about Chrome extensions and specific tools in Google Chrome that can help your learners. Andrew is going to be speaking about features on Chromebooks and how these features can make learning more accessible for all our learners. And then Nicole is going to be speaking about a specific add-on called Read and Write, and she'll explain and tell you a little bit more about that today. So remember, if you have any questions, please pop them in the chat. Our first presenter today is Dylan. So Dylan is the EdTech Director at Oak Hill School in Knysna. He's got 15 years of experience in education. And as a Google certified educator and innovator, he supports teachers by providing frequent professional development on how to integrate G Suite tools in order to redefine those teaching models. Welcome, Dylan. We are very excited to hear what you are going to share with us today.
Right. Thank you so much, Lisa. I appreciate that introduction. And just listening, I realized what a privilege it is to be able to work on the Chrome platform and work alongside Google as an educator. I've found their effort in this space to make learning accessible for students to really be something that is empowering for us teachers on the ground, trying to do often the impossible with children that have some very definite needs. So as you mentioned, I'm going to be looking at Google Chrome extensions this afternoon. So I'm going to show you a little bit how to set up in a little while, how to set up some of those extensions and how to demo. I'm going to demo one or two extensions for you as well. But I actually also get to jump right in and focus and show you a little nifty tool that is built right within Google Slides. So that slide that I just had on the screen, within Google Slides, there's a nifty little built-in tool for accessibility that's quite powerful. Once you present your slides as a presenter in the classroom, or if you are giving a lecture of sorts, you're able to make your verbal input for your audience, you're able to make it visual. So what you do is, here I am in my slides deck. All you do is when you go to present mode, there's going to be an option that's going to pop up on the screen. All right, and so hidden just on this bottom toolbar at the bottom of a Google Slides deck, I'm just going to click again to activate that. All right, just at the bottom over there, allow you to see it. There was the little CC option for closed captions. Now just watch as I activate this tool. Now, as I present to my audience, you are able to pick up visually what I'm giving you verbally or through audio. So if you have a barrier to hearing, then this makes things a whole lot easier. Quite powerful. Wonderful. So I thought that was just a great one to demo for you guys up front. That's not a Chrome extension. That's right within our favorite Google Slides that we use for our presentations and for communicating what we need to with our students. So now to shift a little bit over to Chrome extensions, I want to demo for you quickly. If you aren't familiar with what a Chrome extension actually is, I'm going to show you what they do and how to even install your own Chrome extensions up front. So to do that, what I'm going to do is go over, you'll need to also go over, I'm going to go to a new tab at the top of my screen there. And all I've done is I've Googled and I've gone to the Chrome Web Store. All right. And just below on the left-hand side in the Chrome Web Store, there is the menu option over here to add extensions. So I'm going to select that option to add a Chrome extension. What Chrome extensions do is they sort of customize your Google Chrome experience. They turn Google Chrome into more than just an internet browser. I often think of it as one of those cars that some people love to buy, and then they drop their suspension, or they add a spoiler, or they tint the windows, or whatever it is. They customize their Chrome experience. So I've selected extensions, and I'm just going to demo one here. This is Mercury Reader. It is an accessibility tool, which you can check out. I'm not going to demo this tool, but I'm just going to add it and show you how to add it. So here it pops up. Okay, so I select the tool. And now I'm going to select super easy. Come on, super easy. The add to Chrome option. Now this Chrome extension or little piece of software, I select add extension. This little piece of software is going to pop up right there. There you see him. All right, and it becomes part of my Chrome experience. It's a tool that permanently sits up there. He disappeared now. You can pin him there later, but I'm not going to demo that today. I've got a couple of other Chrome extensions that are pinned here, and they, as I mentioned, they improve your Chrome experience. So that's as simple as it is. Go to the Chrome Web Store. If you've heard of an accessibility tool or there's something you want to be able to do with your students, if you can dream it, you'll probably find it on the Chrome Web Store. So I hope I've empowered you to go and find and add your own Chrome extensions. Now, the ones I'd like to highlight today, I'm going to start out with a Chrome extension called Outline. Okay, so on my screen now, I have South Africa's probably favorite news website. Okay, and I'm on an article about super schools. Now, often as teachers, we love to send our students eyeballs to resources online through Google Classroom or whatever learning management system you're using. And often we send them to quite a cluttered space. You see here, this is very distracting for a student. This is a pop-up on the website. I've got advertising. I've got all kinds of distraction. As I scroll down and I scroll through the website, there's all kinds of clickbait or sometimes even inappropriate content that we don't want to expose our students to. But also in terms of accessibility, there are children that struggle with executive functioning and will really battle to keep focus in this space. So what I do in school is we practice the use of the outline extension. So there's a Chrome outline extension, those little 3 lines over there. And what you do is you highlight the URL of the web resource that you would like to outline. You copy it. All right, so I'm going to right click and then copy that link. And then when I hit my Chrome extension over here, it takes me to outline.com. And just take a look at how powerful that is. That same very cluttered, very dense, very distracting bits of information is now beautifully outlined for the students. And there's no clickbait or wormhole that they'll be distracted to be sent down to. So what you do as an educator now is this is a page on its own. It's as you can see, it's got its own URL. And what you can do is you can copy that URL at the bottom of this page. And then through using Google Classroom, when you assign your work to your students as a resource or as an assignment, you would paste that link straight into Classroom. I'll see if I can demo that now. I might decide not to if it loads a little bit long. Here we go. So for those of you that aren't familiar with Google Classroom, you will go to the Create tool as an educator, and then when you set up your assignment, you want to send your students to that resource, you can simply add that link into that space. there's the link, the outline link, and then that enables those students to not be so distracted, and those that struggle with executive functioning will find the whole learning experience much easier. All right, so that's a super one. It's pretty simple, but really quite powerful. And as I say, we use that as best practice in our school. The second Chrome extension that I'm going to demo today, going back now to the News24 very cluttered website, is a simple Chrome extension which changes the font on the screen of a web resource. In fact, on all of your Chrome tabs, it will change the font to a font that is geared towards your dyslexic readers. So those that traditionally struggle with printed font, the Open Dyslexic font is designed in such a way to make the print more easily accessible to learners with dyslexia. So I've just enabled it now, so we're going to give it a moment. All right, and it should change our screen in a moment there. Let's have a look. Already it's happened over here on this tab. Okay, I'm going to see if it has worked in other spaces. I'll give this a refresh. It doesn't seem to be pulling through at the moment. See if I can refresh this one. Okay, shucks. I'm going to have to move on. It might be a connectivity issue or whatever the case is. Let me try it on this website quickly. And if it's not, I'll move on. But I'll hopefully be able to demonstrate for you. If not, you guys can take a look yourselves. We do use it. It is installed through our Google Chrome admin console. We apply this to all of our learners with dyslexic barriers, and they find it super helpful in terms of changing the font. And it just isn't working with me right now, so I'm going to press on. All right, so the next one I would like to demonstrate for you is a tool called Duelists. All right, so here is the little extension in the middle of the screen there. And what this does, once again, for also similar to those struggling with executive functioning, it helps the students to stay more organized on their screens and in their workspace. So when you've got a bunch of tabs open like I do, things can get quite crazy and the students struggle to find their content. I'm going to pause for a moment. Our Open Dyslexic font has worked. So there it is. You'll notice that the font has changed here. It's a little bit more heavily weighted on the page, and that makes it easier for those learners with dyslexia. Right, I'm almost getting to the end of it here, but let me just show you the Duelist quickly. So with Duelist, what you can do is you can separate out tabs that you're busy working with. So if the students were working with this as a resource that they had to work in a Google Doc with, what I can do is separate out these two documents. So I select this Neil Armstrong document over here where the students might be typing and taking information from the News24 article, and they separate it out. They can choose how they want those two windows to be separated out. So here is a 4:6 split. Let me show you how that works. You'll see now over here we have the article, and on this side we've got the Google Doc where you're able to work, and you can even grab this tab and bring it back into the mix. All right, I'm going to pull that one over there one more time and just demo one more time how that split works. So now they're able to work between two separate tabs. All right, and the last extension that I want to show to you is an extension called Co-Writer, and I just need to bring up now my Google Doc again. Okay, so in this Google Doc, the Co-Writer app allows those students with barriers to reading and writing to more easily find the words that they need when they're busy composing their thoughts. Sometimes you've got brilliant students who to find the vocabulary, or they have difficulties with spelling or reading, and they can't find the words that they need. So here I am in a Google Doc, and I'm going to turn on the Co-Writer. There it is over there, the Co-Writer extension, and demonstrate for you how that works.
Dylan, while we're waiting for that, can I ask you a question?
Sure, go ahead.
How often do you use this with your students, and what is their experience?
So it's a great question because, as we're speaking about all of these extensions today, often we focus on those children with barriers, or, we think it's only for dyslexic children, it's only for children that struggle with reading or writing. But I find that this tool that I'm going to demonstrate for you in particular just helps students to gather their thoughts and to compose their thoughts. So it doesn't always have to be, these tools don't always have to be boxed just for students that are struggling. All right, so I'm going to click there and it should be running now. I did see it came up on the screen. And I've changed my audio just so that you'll be able to hear, because it does read back. And it is glitching. I am struggling here today, people. I do apologize for this. Let's see, there we go. All right, so now we've got Neil Armstrong, and you'll see on the screen the student has a bunch of choices, what they would like to compose next. So I might want to pull in and you'll notice that it reads back for the students as well, and they can keep going, but there's another added tool just in that space where they can also change to voice to text option. So I might want to enable that. First man on the moon. So as you can see, that's quite empowering for those of us that might struggle to compose our thoughts, or to just find the words that they need to make their ideas and their thoughts beautiful. I hope that this has been helpful. I apologize for one or two of the technical glitches, but hopefully I've just exposed you to the power of Google Chrome extensions. There are many out there. Do a little bit of research for Chrome extensions on accessibility, and I'm sure that you'll find yourself to the right spot. Thank you, Lisa.
Thank you so much, Dylan. As a language teacher who works with struggling readers and writers often, this is very exciting to me, and I've definitely learned some new things. So thank you so much for your contribution there. Ladies and gents, our next presenter is Andrew, who is also an English language teacher, but in Bloomberry High School in Port Harcourt in Nigeria. He has more than 12 years of experience in teaching primary and secondary schools, and then he's also a Google Certified Level 1 educator. His focus today is going to be on features in Chromebooks that help learners, support learners with special needs and make learning more accessible for them. Welcome, Andrew. I'm very excited to see what you're going to share with us today.
Thank you very much, Lisa. And it's a good afternoon from Port Harcourt, Nigeria to you, Africa. In the next 15 minutes, I'm going to be showing you how to use some of the accessibility features on Chromebook to support learners with hearing, vision, and motor impairment. So I'm going to get started now. I'm going to show you some of the features we can, first of all, use to support learners who have visual impairment using the large mouse cursor, the highlight mouse cursor, high contrast mode or night mode, the full screen, and docked magnifiers. So let's start with the large mouse cursor. Now, the large mouse cursor makes it possible to increase the size of the cursor on the screen, making it a lot easier for the learner with low vision to see it. Now, to access this feature, you go to the setting on your Chromebook. Under setting, you go to accessibility. Under accessibility, you go to manage accessibility features, and then you scroll down. You scroll down to mouse and touchpad section of accessibility features. Here we go. Now, under this section, you're going to see show large mouse cursor. Now, before I turn it on, I want you to notice that the cursor is very small on the screen. Now, this can be very difficult for a learner who has low vision to see. Now, when I turn this on, Here we go. The cursor is a lot larger. The pointer is larger. Everything has increased, okay? Now, you can also adjust the size of the cursor on the screen by adjusting cursor size here under the same setting by moving these to the left. You see the cursor becomes smaller. When you drag to the right, it becomes larger. So you can adjust the size of the cursor to suit the need of the learner. Now also, you see under the setting, you have cursor color. You can choose any color for the cursor you want. Choose between red, yellow, green. There are options there to choose from. For example, let me just pick green. There you go. The cursor color has changed to green. So I'm going to leave it at red because red is my favorite color. And there we go. And another feature that can be used to support a learner with visual impairment is the highlight mouse cursor. Now, the highlight mouse cursor, as the name implies, highlights the cursor on the screen, making it a lot easier for the learner to see it. So I'm going to give you a short demo of that. So we're going back to the setting of our Chromebook under accessibility. Okay, so we're under mouse and touchpad also. You're going to find highlight the mouse cursor when it's moving. So when I enable this, here I go. When I move the cursor on my screen, you see the cursor is highlighted with a red circle. Now this makes it very easy for the learner to spot it wherever the cursor is on the screen. Also, the cursor, the highlighted mouse cursor, can help the learner to focus on the screen with this red circle, as you can concentrate on words as they read using the highlight mouse cursor. Okay. Now, the next feature that we can use to support a learner with visual impairment is the high contrast mode or the night mode. Now, this feature makes it possible to turn off the light from the screen, highlighting only the text on the screen. So here's a demo for you. So we're going back quickly to our settings. So we scroll to display. Under display of accessibility, you'll find use high contrast mode. So I'm going to enable this now and take note of how the screen changes. There we go. So it's now on night mode or high contrast mode. Now only the text on the screen is highlighted. Now this is very good for a learner who has very low tolerance for bright light coming out from the screen of the Chromebook. So I'm going to disable this now and continue. And now also another way we can help a learner to see what the content on the screen more clearly is by using magnifiers, full screen and docked magnifiers. So let me start with full screen. Now, there are different ways you can increase the content on the screen to make it a lot more easier for the learner to see. We can use shortcut, and you can go to the Chromebook setting to turn it on. So let's start with a shortcut. Now, shortcut, you can hold down the control key on your physical keyboard. While holding it down, you tap on the plus key. You can see it zooms in, your Chromebook zooms in, and the content of the screen increases. Now, if you want to reduce the content on the screen, while holding down the control key, you tap on the minus key on a physical keyboard, and then the content decreases. If you want to go back to normal while holding down the control key, just tap on the 0 button. There you go, everything goes back to normal. Another way to increase the content on the screen is by holding down the shift key, the control key, and then you tap on the plus button while holding down those keys. You see the Chromebook zooms in, and then the content on the screen increases. You can also tap on the minus key while holding down those keys, and then the content on the screen decreases as well. Now you can tap on 0 while holding down those keys, and everything goes back to normal. Okay, so those are very important keys, features for supported learners with visual impairment. Now, there's also the docked magnifier. The docked magnifier works by separating the screen into two. Now, the upper part of the screen magnifies the content of the lower part of the screen. Now, let me give you a demo. So we'll go back again to our accessibility setting. Okay, then quickly we go under accessibility, you go to the display section. Under display section, you're going to find enable docked magnifier. So I'm going to enable this now. You're going to see the change on my screen. There we go. Now you can see the screen is divided into two. The upper part magnifies the lower part, the content of the lower part of the screen. So I'm going to scroll down. You can see the content of the lower part is magnified in the upper part of the screen. So this way, any learner with low vision can use any method that is good, suitable to them to make learning accessible. So I'm going to disable this feature and then move on to the next feature on my slide. Now, learners who have visual impairment, how can we use the accessibility features on the Chromebook to support learners with motor impairment? There are some learners who have issues typing with their fingers. Some learners can only type with one hand. Now, to assist such learners, we have on-screen keyboard on our Chromebook. We also have the handwriting input and then the voice input as well. So I'm going to give a demo on this. So back to the setting of our Chromebook. Okay, so quickly we scroll down to keyboard and text input section. There I'm going to enable the on-screen keyboard. Now the on-screen keyboard is actually a virtual keyboard. So I'm going to turn it on. Now it is enabled. Now it will not pop up except when I'm ready to type. So let me say I'm going to type here. I click, there we go. You can see the on-screen keyboard is on now. You can minimize it. It's maximized right now. If you want to minimize it, you click on this middle button. It's minimized. Now, while minimized, you can move the keyboard to any part of the screen where you want it, where it's comfortable for the learner. You can move it anywhere you want. Okay, so I'm going to maximize it now and show you some demo of how this works. Now, let's start with typing. Now, with one hand, if you're using a touch screen, you can use the fingers to type by touching the numbers or the letters. You can see that, making it a lot easier to type with one hand. Okay. Right. So another feature that's very useful on this on-screen keyboard is the handwriting feature. Now, the handwriting feature can be activated by clicking on this icon here. So I'm going to click on it. There we go. Now, how this works is I write on the keyboard using my touchpad, okay? And whatever I write, my Chromebook will do the typing for me. So, for example, I want to write something here now. So there we go. B-O-Y, that's boy. It's writing with my hand now, this handwriting. Now, take note as I write. There you go. The word I just wrote is typed there for me by my Chromebook. Okay. Now, another feature that can be used with the on-screen keyboard is the voice input. Now, look at the microphone icon here. There we go. I'm going to activate this now. I'll only have to speak to my Chromebook, and my Chromebook will do the typing for me. Before I do that, let me quickly delete this that I have here so I can speak to the system, and then you have it. Okay, I'm going to activate it now. There we go. Okay. There we go. Hello, Africa. How are you doing today? You can see all of that being typed out there for me by my system. So I'm going to deactivate this now. Okay, so that is how the on-screen keyboard works. Now you can also play around with emojis here. You know, there you go. Pick any emojis to express feelings, any kind of feeling you wish to. Okay, so that is it for my my on-screen keyboard. So I'm going to deactivate it now, and then we move on. Now, other features that we can use to support learners with motor impairment is the automatic clicks. Now, the automatic clicks, as the name implies, works automatically. Now, the learner doesn't have to struggle to hold down or to press down anything for the mouse to click. It just clicks automatically. So we're going to go quickly back to our setting. Okay, under setting, we're clicking move on back to okay, under setting, we go to keyboard and input, keyboard and text input section. So I'm going to do enable automatic clicks. Okay, enable automatic clicks. Sorry about that. There we go. On the mouse and touchpad, please, not the other one. On the mouse and touchpad, there we go. I'm going to enable this automatic clicks. That is enabled. Now you see this panel here that just floated in. Okay, if you move your cursor over it, you can see the clicking now. Move your cursor over it here. It can move this panel to any part of the screen that's comfortable for you. Now the first key, the first icon on this panel is left click. This is right click. and the next one is double click, and the next icon is click and drag, and the next icon is for scrolling. I can actually scroll down. Sorry, let me activate that again. So I can scroll down, scroll up, scroll down with ease. I don't have to use my hand struggling with my physical keyboard. Okay, so I'm going to deactivate that. Now, if you want to pause the automatic clicks for a while, there's the pause icon there. That is deactivated for a while the panel is still on. So I'm going to have it back on. There we go. Now, you can adjust the size of the area that the automatic clicks can cover on the automatic clicks. Okay. You can adjust the size it covers there. You see that on the adjust cursors now. Movement threshold. There we go. Movement threshold. So I can increase the size of the area it clicks, then it becomes a lot larger. That's smaller now. I actually picked a small one, extra small. So it's very small now. I picked the large, extra large size of it. There we go. Very large now. Okay. So just move your cursor over anything you wish to click, and it clicks automatically without having to press any button. So I'm going to deactivate that. There we go. Yes. Now, next to another feature that can be used to support learners with motor impairment is the sticky keys. Now, we all like to work very fast on our Chromebook using shortcut keys. Now, the sticky keys make it possible to use the shortcut keys. Now, let me give you a demo of how this works. Now, quickly, we go to the keyboard and text input section. There we go. We're going to enable sticky keys. There we go. So I'm going to enable it. I've enabled it, and then it's on. Now the sticky keys works by, if I press, there we go. You can see that a box there that just popped up from the left side of my screen. It shows I just pressed the left key. The left key is highlighted. So if I press the left key again, if I press the key on my physical keyboard again, it's underlined. What this means is that it's holding it down for me. If I press a third time, it's disabled. Okay. If I press the control key is highlighted. If I press again, it means it's holding it down for me. If I press the shift key twice, so what this means, I'm holding down the control key and the shift key. So the other hand is free to do whatever I want to. So that is how the sticky key works for learners, especially learners who type with just one hand. So I'm going to disable this setting now. Okay, now next feature that we can use to support learners. I'm just done with learners who have visual impairment. I'm going to move on now to learners who have difficulty reading and comprehension. Now this feature helps the learner to read out the text. All the learner needs to do is to activate this setting on the system and then select the part of the document they want read out loud, and then the Chromebook will do the reading for them. Now, to access this feature, you go to accessibility setting on your Chromebook, and then you go to text to speech feature, and quickly you go to enable select to speak. I'm going to enable it now. That we go is enabled. Okay. Now you can adjust the speed of the voice quickly. Let me do that. Show you something here quickly. There we go. Okay, I'll take you back quickly. Sorry about that. Let me take you back to, okay. Can I adjust this here? Trying to show you something very interesting. Here we go. Yeah. Now you can adjust the rate, the speed of the voice as it reads to you. You can adjust the pitch of the voice. You can also adjust the volume here. Now let me show you something here. If it reads too fast, you can bring it down to, let's say, 80. Let me show you a demo. I'm going to play this for you. Okay, and now we can also reduce the pitch. Okay, now before that can actually work, we'll come here to the tray. I'm going to activate this. There we go. I'll select a part of the screen I want it to read for me.
Hi there. I'm your text-to-speech voice. Preview. Text to preview.
Okay, I can actually increase the speed if you want to read faster.
Hi there. I'm your text-to-speech voice.
That's very fast. So you can actually reduce it to, let's say, 80. Makes it very slow. The reader can take the time to learn at their own pace. Okay, let me give you a demo of this.
Hi there. I'm your text-to-speech voice.
can read slowly for the reader to help in reading and comprehension. So quickly, the next slide to support the speaker is, sorry. Okay, let me go back to my presentation mode. Sorry about that. Okay, the next slide, the next feature is mono audio. The mono audio works by, when you activate this, the mono audio, it makes it possible for the Chromebook to play the sound of the system, play the same sound from all the speakers of the system, the same sound, no variation. And this is very useful for a learner who has hearing loss in one ear, has partial hearing in one ear. So these are the features that we can use to support learners, to help them have access to learning. Thank you, Africa. Back to Lisa.
Need to unmute myself there. Thank you so much, Andrew. That was so interesting. I can definitely think of many learners who can benefit from these features. Just mentioning again that all these features are on Chromebook specifically. So if you would like more information on that, you can contact any of the partners. And our last presenter for today is Nicole. So her name is Nicole dos Santos, and she is the head of innovation and online schooling at Penryn Preparatory in Mpumalanga in South Africa. So I know she's a full-time teacher as well. And she's going to share something with you regarding read and write and the tools that they specifically have to make learning more accessible for different learners. Welcome, Nicole. We are excited.
Hi,
to
everybody. Thank you.
Today.
It's so exciting to be here. And I must say, I just love these collaboration sessions because you can never know it all. And I've learned some wonderful tips and tricks today. So I'd like to share with you our journey. At Penryn, we have a lot of diverse cultures. We've got a lot of foreign language children. And we also have children that have physical disabilities. So we had to find a platform that would cater to all the needs. And for that, we found the Read and Write. It's a toolbar. It's also a Google Chrome add-on. And then you get this nifty set of tools. And what I like about it is that it provides everything that we need in one space. And we've been using it for 3 years now. We start in grade 1, actually, with this toolbar. And the learners have actually started using it in many different ways that we didn't even expect. So they've taught us quite a lot, and it's made a huge difference in language enrichment. So I'm going to go through, I've got a little activity here that I want to demo for you. When I open anything, it can be slides, it can be a doc, it can be a sheet, it can be a web page, a PDF. I click on my little icon to activate my toolbar. So there's my toolbar at the top here, and it's got some amazing features which I'm going to take you through. A while ago, we identified that one of the biggest problems with language was comprehension, and that was having a huge impact on not only English, but in second languages, in maths problem solving, in all sorts of questions, deep-rooted questions for other subjects. So hence, we've started using these highlighter tools just to draw the learner's attention to the fact that if there's a question, there is meaning in the text. And once they make that connection automatically and continuously refer between question and text, we've won a huge battle in terms of comprehension. So what they've been coached to do is they highlight a question in one color. Then they've got to find the text, the answer, or the reference, or the clue if it's an inference question. And then they highlight it in the same color. Then they change colors. Next question, next section of text. Change colors. Next question, next section of text. Once they've done all of that, they can do it multiple times because this little icon over here allows me to clean my highlights, but I'm not going to do that. This tool helps me to collect all my highlights. So once I've got that, I click on the collect highlights, and I can choose if I wanted to pull through by color or position. And I've clicked all my my colors, and I go, okay. And what it does here is it collects the new all the highlights in a new document. Now, this document, as it is here, we don't really worry about using this unless we're collecting vocabulary and whatever, but then the student can actually, the process of doing this exercise has moved our comprehension levels up tremendously, and it's made such a remarkable difference in almost every subject, just to understand that link from text to what is actually being asked. All right, I'm going to go through the next one. Write a paragraph on what you think life would be like of Mars. So we have got some physically handicapped children or physically challenged. And what we find is at the end of the day, they are exhausted. Long writing tasks and things like that are really difficult for them. So once again, my one toolbar, and I click speech to text, and then it's going to allow me to, oh, sorry, I've clicked it off. Come on. It's going to allow me to complete a task that would normally take such a learner a lot longer. Full stop. Next line. Oh, that wasn't supposed to happen. New line. So it's a very wonderful tool. They know how to use it. And we have to caution, of course, when they are allowed to use this tool. But for our children that are learning challenged, this is absolutely a wonderful lifesaver. So then we move on to the next little thing on the toolbar. This is predictive text. So this we use for the foreign language children and for language enrichment. This has also made a world of difference. And I know that both Andrew and Dylan have had other solutions to this. This is the same sort of thing, predicting what comes next. So they have to write a little paragraph, but we find that if their language is limited, it doesn't improve and their language isn't as rich as it could be. So now I click on my predictive text little stamp thing there, icon, and I click in, and now I can start writing. The first time it gives me a number of options. I can so it also reads back to the learner so they can hear the word. And you can again change the number of options that you get. You can also change the language output. So you can change the dialect and particular language. So this has been wonderful. And then you can also set it to a translate function, which I will show you a little bit later. So this has enriched our language. It's enriched their creative writing. It's enriched their vocabulary and their general means of expression. Let's move on to task number 4. Let me switch that off. Sorry. Vocabulary is key. We really struggle with vocabulary, especially if children come in from the higher grades, into the higher grades, and particularly into the high school, and they are foreign language or second language students. So we work really hard at trying to help them with that. And again, I'm using my highlighting tools. And the task is highlight all the words that are new to you and create a vocabulary list. So they would highlight all the brand new words that they haven't learned before or are unfamiliar. And then I will take that selection and I will create a vocabulary list. Once again, this makes it into a new document. Now these vocabulary lists, all right, it didn't pull through now, but I don't want to, oh, there we go. Right, this is wonderful. The vocabulary list gives the word, the meaning, the symbol, and then what we ask them to do is write a note in their own words. So if it was craters, they would get a description of what craters are, a picture of what it actually is, so that helps the visual, and then they have to write their own sentence with the word crater so that they're actually using it in the right content. Next task is reading. We know that reading is one of the key elements, and we struggle often to get children to engage in reading. And then you've got a lot of children that are not keen to read in front of a teacher. They're a little bit embarrassed. So this function allows the teacher to track how well their reading is developed. It also gets them to read, and they can take as many retakes as they like. So we're going to give them this reading task over here, highlight that, and they are going to click the practice reading aloud. That's going to open up a new window. And now I can share this with my teacher. So the student has a chance to start recording. For many years, scientists wondered if life could exist on Mars, which is sometimes called the red planet. Now I can listen to it. I think it's because my earphones are on. Let's try again. All right, apologies. I think it's because I'm streaming to my earphones. So I don't think you're hearing it. But that recording, if the student isn't happy with it, they can stop it and they can start all over again. Once they are happy with that recording, they send it to their teacher. Is that the teacher you want to send it to? Yes. And the teacher gets a progress report on a regular basis on where they are and what skills still need to be worked on. So that one has been very powerful. Nobody's put in direct you standing in front of a class and reading, but it has heightened the amount of reading that students are getting through. And then another wonderful little icon is this notes. So this is a lovely thing for collaboration, the collaboration tools. We use it for mind mapping. It's lovely for fact and opinion, all sorts of things, but it's also for those children that have physical challenges. So if you're traveling to Mars, what would you need to do? So now we can simply put in a little voice note. There are several things that you need to make sure you have. Stop recording. There we go. This one's playing. All right. If I'm happy with it, I can insert. And the nice thing about this is that students actually think more carefully about what they say. And I'm just going to close that. I'm not going to wait for it. How they word things, and they can hear back from their counterparts. So it can be question and answer based as well. And then those children with language issues get to hear the spoken language. I want to show you two more things again. This is called the screencast. I can change the colors of my screencast to any color that I like. I've got mine set on green. The children do theirs individually, whichever color suits them. And it basically, again, as Dylan mentioned before, takes away the clutter and focuses the attention on where the child is reading. So this has been very, very useful. And I'm actually surprised how many children without sort of the normal difficulties actually use this. I wouldn't have expected so many of the students, but they really like it, and it has improved focus and keeping on track. So the last thing I want to show you is that in the options section over here, I've got my screen masking. I can change the background color. I can also change my highlighting color. And this is specific to each child. I can change the opacity, the reading light opacity. So the kids play around with this by themselves, and they find a bespoke sort of system that works for them. Speech, we've got quite a lot of different kinds of speech, as you can see. English, Afrikaans, Zulu, and quite a few metropolitan languages, which we use. We have a lot of children from, Portuguese speaking, French speaking, and so that is wonderful. And then you can set it on continuous reading, or speaking on each word, or speaking on each sentence. We also have the translation feature. There are a myriad of languages that it can translate into here, which has come in more useful than I can ever explain. So there are different features that you can play on. You can also customize that toolbar. So what I like to do is take off the check it, which is the spell checker. I don't really want them to have that, and it's disappeared from my toolbar. So now if a child also has difficulty focusing, eye impairments, we can hear. For many years, So, and that you can start and stop as you like. And there are many, many other features that we use, but those are my favorite. And I hope that you're going to try it out. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Nicole. That was really fantastic and so informative. I'm pretty sure everyone watching learned something new because I know I did. I know we have a few questions from our audience, and I would like to invite Joseph to moderate that Q&A for us. And for all the presenters, thank you so much. I'll thank you again at the end, but be ready for some questions to answer those questions from our audience. Thanks, Joseph.
Thank you very much, Lisa, and all the presenters, Dylan, Otavia, and Nicole. That was a very fantastic presentation by you guys and ladies. So right away, we just have one question, and the question is, for each presenter, if you had to pick on one tool, which is the best to start with students? In other words, which is the easiest tool to use from a tech skills perspective? So we're looking for the easiest tool to use for students with impairment issues or motor issues. So Dylan, what is your take on that?
So yeah, I demoed a few extensions there, and I'd actually flip that a little bit and say, if you're starting out, perhaps use that outline extension, which I demonstrated, because it's actually something that the students wouldn't need too much technological skills to operate. Use the teacher doing a little bit more of the work for them, and setting up a piece of a resource without any of that clutter. So short answer to that one.
Thank you very much, Dylan. We are grateful. Andy, do you have anything to say on that, please?
Yeah, when you talk about the best tool for a learner, I think it has to do, you have to think about the needs of the learner. What does the learner want? Now, for me, for example, the best accessibility tool for me on Chromebook is the large mouse cursor. I use it a lot. That's what I use to find my way around on the screen. So that's what's best for me. So whatever needs a learner has, you have to adjust to customize the Chromebook to meet that need. So whatever works best among the tools is best for that particular learner.
Thank you very much, Andy. Nicole, I don't know if you have anything to say on that also. Please unmute. You are muted.
Sorry. Yes, that's what I love about the read and write extension, because we use it from grade 1. And it is, you can use it on a tablet. The features are condensed, so there aren't as many features. And what I love about it is the children take it themselves, as Andrew said, they click, what does this do? What does this do? And pretty soon, in one toolbar, they've customized the device the way they want it and for their specific needs. So they don't actually need any other tool, and very little training is involved because they like to explore so much, they figure it out. And we've learned to use it by watching them use it. So that would be my choice. That's why I love it.
Yes, and Nicole, you mentioned the collaboration, and I think learning a lot from you today. It was wonderful for me to see how a few of the little Chrome extensions that I demoed were actually wrapped up within that read and write Chrome extension. So that's definitely one to have a look at. From an educator point of view, having one tool with so many functions for accessibility was quite an eye-opener. Thanks.
Okay, thank you very much, Nicole, Andy, and Dylan, as well as Lisa. We are very grateful for the presentations for today. We're looking forward to seeing you guys next week, same time, Wednesday, for our next presentation. Thank you very much. I think this is what we'll call it a day for the day. Thank you, guys.
Thank you,
Thanks,
everyone.
Joseph.
Thank you, everyone.
Thank you, Ryan. Bye-bye. Cheers.
You're welcome.
So just for those of you who are interested in next week's webinar, we are going to be traveling the world virtually. So we're going to learn about features like Google Maps, My Maps, Google Earth, etc., and also a tour creator. So please pop in for that one and come and join us and learn some more about all of those tools and how you can use them in your classroom. And then just a last thank you to all of our presenters today. I really think it was very, very interesting. And we hope to see you all back next week.
Okay, thank you. See you guys next week.
All right, bye, Lisa. Bye, Joseph. Bye, Dylan.